Awesome. Hi, everybody. It is now 1 o'clock, so we're going to begin. I am so excited because welcome to today's Circuit Stream Product Management Bootcamp Pitch Day. Today, we're celebrating the amazing journey and graduation of our February product management cohort. Over the past few months, these students have sharpened their skills, taken on real-world challenges, and built solutions that highlight the creativity and mindset of true product managers. This event brings together an incredible mix of industry pros that are here to hear fresh ideas, graduates that are ready to showcase their expertise, and our community that is super excited to get a front row seat to look at the future of product management. So today you're going to see innovative projects, smart strategies, and problem solving that will help shape the products and experiences of tomorrow. So let's celebrate their hard work and their courage to pitch today and the exciting careers that they have ahead. So we'll start with a little bit of housekeeping. A few things before we begin. Today's event will be approximately 2 hours. We do have 3 pitches, so it may not be that long, but that's what we are prepared for today. Though only our partners and presenters can go up on stage to speak, all attendees are welcome to participate in the chat. So feel free to ask questions, give comments, feedback, whatever else. Throughout the pitches, we will be playing some embedded YouTube videos. These will be played at full volume on our end, but be prepared to adjust your own computer volume as we play the slides, as the volumes will vary. Lastly, just a reminder to our guest speakers, please make use of the moderator chat for internal comments and the general chat for anything else. We can get started. So I'll just start by introducing myself. I am Tia. I'm the lead career coach here at Circuit Stream, and I'm so excited to welcome you to our February Product Management Pitch Day. At Circuit Stream, our mission is to bridge the gap between learning and industry, and my role is to help students take everything that they've learned and turn it into real career momentum. I get to support them in building job-ready portfolios, navigating their job search with clarity and confidence, and stepping into the next chapter of their careers. And they're very prepared to make an impact. I also work closely with our instructors and internal team to make sure that students are bringing their very best to the table, and that events like today shine a spotlight on our incredible talent and creativity within our community. And now I'll just get Maddie on stage to talk a little bit about herself.
Thank you, Tia. So my name is Maddie. I am the Partnership Development Manager here at Circuit Stream. Like Tia mentioned, we're trying to bridge the gap between our industry partners and our students to build these network connections so that our students have a little head start as they launch their careers in tech. Ultimately, I'm trying to support everyone getting hired. Today, I brought in 3 incredible guests who we will have come up in a moment and introduce themselves. And we're very excited to see all the hard work that our students put into their projects. Thank you, Tia.
Awesome. So this is just a quick overview of our order of events. After some kickoff items, I will call up the partners who are attending today to give a brief introduction, and we will introduce the capstone and jump into pitches, which will be 7 minutes long. And after each individual pitch, there will be 10 minutes of Q&A with the guest speakers, and all of the pitches, when they're done, we will get everybody on stage so that we can have a general Q&A. This will be an opportunity to revisit some things, give some more clarity, ask some more questions, and then we will wrap up. So I want to give some background on Circuit Stream. Circuit Stream began in 2015 through a network of developers, designers, creators, and we are now a leading provider of technology education in game development and design, product management, and software development. Our primary goal is to provide future-proofed and industry-relevant skills to folks that are looking to pivot into tech, that are looking to upskill, or just learn about technical aspects of the industries. And our secondary goal is to prepare our bootcamp graduates for jobs in their preferred industry through events, through one-on-one connections, and engaging with our extensive network of employer partners. Since our start in 2015, we've educated over 50,000 learners globally, and we are constantly updating our curriculum to stay ahead of the curve. CircuitStream is also educational partners with several top universities across North America to provide technology education for both youth and adult learners. These are some of the top universities that we're partnered with. And in parallel to the technical programs that CircuitStream offers, we also do have an optional career program to our bootcamp students. This program provides ongoing support for students who are keen to start job hunting right after graduating to make sure that they're prepared to find a new job. Through this program, we're committed to supporting our students with their careers and personal development, and we take a lot of pride in providing opportunities to connect our learners with industry partners and networks. So for the business in attendance today, we're always looking to expand our network of employers who we reach out to for events, talent opportunities, and more. If you are interested in joining our talent network, please reach out to our amazing partner development manager, Maddie, who's going to be super happy to talk to you. So that is it for that. And now we're going to be welcoming our industry partners to the stage. We're so fortunate to have some incredible partners joining us today, and I can't wait for you to hear from them. Please, guest speakers, come up on stage, share a little bit about where you work, what you do, and the journey that brought you here, and anything else that you'd like for our presenters to know as they step into their pitches today. So we'll go through individually, guest by guest. First, I'd ask Linda to talk a little bit about herself. We're so excited to have you here today. Linda is the Senior Product Manager from Disney. And go for it, Linda.
Hi, I hope everyone can hear me. So my name is Linda Wunderlich. I work for the Walt Disney Company, specifically in Disney Entertainment and ESPN in the Woodlands, Texas. People ask me, why are you in the Woodlands, Texas? We do have our live broadcasting operations for a part of our entertainment television and backup for ESPN. I've been doing product management for several years. I've worked for several companies. I would never have thought I started out my career saying I'd work in media and entertainment. It's been quite a journey from being a developer when I was younger to getting into operations and DevOps, and then ultimately in product management. What I do day to day varies, basically being adapt to the changes every day. But there are some general consistencies, like we do follow an agile methodology and we have ceremonies. I go through discovery. Generally, I'm constantly researching and looking for ways to make improvements or to develop new products. I mostly develop new products for broadcast media applications. So pretty much zero to launch, 0 to 1 applications. And I really focus on the value as my prioritization for those products. I feel like I'm also open to failure and learning from failure. I think that's key to success. And I look forward to hearing everybody's products today. I'm really excited to listen to everyone's ideas. There's great ideas, and then how you execute those. I'm really fascinated to hear those today. So I'm really excited. And thank you for allowing me to join today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Linda. I think what you said is so important, that constant improvement and being open to feedback is how you grow as a product manager. And that's a huge, huge thing that we talk about as well with the product managers in the future, that you have to be open and you have to adjust and constantly learn new things. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Next, we will have Adrian. Adrian is the Senior Product Manager at JNAP. And Adrian, welcome. And you can just talk a little bit about what you do and your background.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here. I'm a product manager at JNAP. We have, I think, about around 30 or so product managers within the company. I've only been at JNAP for I'm in my 3rd month, so not very long, but it's been an amazing journey so far. It's an incredible company. They're very intentional with their onboarding, so I've been enjoying all of it. At JNAP, we're what we call a practice management software, and so we help allied health professionals run their businesses and grow their businesses. And more recently, we've developed an app that is patient facing or client facing, if you will. So any of us who go and see, say, your chiropractor can utilize the app and manage your bookings that way. You can take telehealth calls. We're releasing some more cool stuff actually next week. And so that's the product that I own within the Jane ecosystem. I've been in product management for over a decade. I started out as a designer, did footwear development, and so it wasn't like a natural way into product management. It kind of fell in my lap in a way because as I was working in footwear, I became really kind of interested in the business dynamics of what we were doing and how we were operating, and so got really into that, and then kind of transitioned into tech and product management. And it's been the most amazing journey so far, and I hope to do this for the rest of my career. So yeah, very exciting. Similar to what Linda was saying, I think all of my time so far working in tech has been kind of working in a like biweekly sprint type of cycle. So like the agile kind of approach to development. Love geeking out over kind of like the lean approach to product development. Really kind of trying to find ways to build value without wasting capital. It's like such an important skill to have, and it's way harder than it sounds. And yeah, I think like just because of my background in design, that most of like the lens through which I approach product has a lot to do with like the experience that I'm envisioning people navigating through. And similarly, again to what Linda was saying, like a lot of the work that I do is spent observing people, chatting with people, trying to go through what we call discovery, and learning about what people's needs are and really responding to people's problems as opposed to kind of just dreaming up solutions that might not fit into the market. And so I think that's another really important detail that we need to consider as product managers. I feel like I can say a lot more, but I'll let others chime in, and I'm sure we'll get some more time a little bit later to chat. Super happy to be here. Super excited to hear about the pitches.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Adrian. I think that's so interesting that your journey has been so different. I know that a lot of our product managers that they've come from so many different backgrounds and they're looking to transition into product management. And sometimes your background works to your advantage, right? You can really take what you've learned and then apply that to the business side of things. But I use JNAP all the time. So thank you so much for sharing. And next we will go to Siddharth. Welcome, Siddharth. He's the Senior Manager of Product Management at Zenoti. We're so excited to hear from you and welcome.
Thanks, Tia. Hi, everyone. I'm Sid. I've been with Zenoti now for 6+ years. Started off as a senior product manager there, and obviously have transitioned to a senior manager of product. My role here is primarily to lead the AI portfolio of products. And obviously, that's the buzzword these days. But Zenoti, is a all-in-one B2B SaaS software that caters to businesses in the wellness space. So we kind of operate similar to what Adrian was talking about with JNAP in a similar sort of space, but building all the customers' needs in the wellness domain. So it could be spas, salons, medical spas, and so on. What's interesting is that I started my journey as a consultant in management consulting, and then transitioned to product management a decade back. I think the one thing that I have managed to do is to maintain an active role in product management, not just managing a team, but also kind of making sure that I'm very involved with the day-to-day aspects, which is what I really like about the role, which is solving for hard problems, getting together people across teams, and then making sure we're solving the right problems, we're doing the right things for the business. So those are the things that, keep me going. I think as Adrian and Linda mentioned, I've found product management to be very enriching, and I do continue to hope to stay in this line of work purely because of the fact that, no 2 days are the same. And I do have, quite a lot of different challenges that we face, and the opportunity to make a real impact. So in my role, again, it's not just the core product management aspect. I now also look at, P&L side of things. So obviously, there is added responsibility to bring in revenues for the organization. But super excited to be here. I do feel that it's not just about hearing the pitches; it's also about learning from them for all of us. So looking forward to that. Yeah, and thanks a lot for having me.
Awesome. That was so great. I love how open all of you are to learn from others. And I think that's such an important trait to have in product management. So that's very insightful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate your time. So now we will move on to the next part. So I will get everybody to leave the stage once more. And I hope you enjoy the pitches. So next, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Pitch Day. So with the Product Management Bootcamp is about 20. Oops. Let me reshare my screen. Yay, okay, we're back. So for the Product Management Bootcamp, it's a hands-on 21-week bootcamp, which is both online and project-based. It has 5 hours of live class per week and 2.5 hours of technical bi-weekly career labs and 10 hours of independent studies. The students are very busy. There are weekly assignments, in-class challenges, portfolio projects, and students also complete a capstone project at the end of the bootcamp. This bootcamp is designed for those that are interested in learning in the essential practices of product management, from strategic planning and feature development to agile execution. So the program is very comprehensive, and it's designed to provide a full spectrum understanding of product lifecycle, ensuring that you're adept at guiding products from their initial conception all the way to market dominance. And product management is a great career with lots of growth potential. This is why we've collaborated with University of Toronto to offer hands-on 21-week bootcamp that will take you all the way from a beginner to launching a career in product. Now for the course outcomes, our bootcamp graduates, they emerge with comprehensive skill sets that prepare them for success. So through in-depth modules like Product Management Foundations, students gain a really solid understanding of roles and responsibilities, how they navigate product development stages, and how they use data to inform strategic decisions. Graduates are also educated on market insights, product strategy, feature ideation, development, team dynamics, agile execution, product positioning, data mastery, and decision making. So they get to learn a lot from this course. And then as for the capstone project, students were asked to bring everything that they've learned in this program together. The goal was to develop a mid to high fidelity prototype of a product using the tool of their choice, and then take it a step further by testing it with potential end users. There were 3 major pieces to this project. There was prototype quality to make sure that the product itself was strong in terms of user experience and functionality. Then there was product requirement document, so structured PRD that included an overview of product insights, market analysis, roadmap requirements, and go-to-market strategies. And then there was the execution plan of how this would align with goals, defining scope, deliverables, risks, and creating like a clear communication plan. So altogether, these requirements just push the students to not only think like designers, but true product managers, balancing vision, balancing strategy, and execution. So today's product pitches, we have 3, and we have Jody, Jumoke, and Irene. So I'm very, very excited for them to present. This is the order that we're going to be having the product pitches in. So just a reminder to please share your comments in the chat. And if you have a specific question for any of our presenters, please post it in the questions area next to the chat. Following each presentation, we will have our 10 minutes of Q&A. So I will welcome the guest speakers at that time. But with that, I would like to call on stage Jody, who's actually already here, who has created Watch Women's Sports. And Jody, you are welcome to start. I will exit the stage.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much, Tia. So yeah, my product is called Watch Women's Sports, and my name is Jody Gordon. So currently I'm a video editor at Scotiabank, but I'm looking to transition my career into product management. So my specialties are storytelling, bringing ideas to life, and collaboration. I'm also an avid women's sports fan, which will be very relevant as you watch this presentation. So, as you may already know, the women's professional sports industry has been exponentially growing in popularity, revenue, and viewership over the last few years. So I have a few stats on screen to exemplify this. The WNBA rose in viewership by 170% in 2024. The NWSL has been rising by 95% in viewership year over year. The PWHL's inaugural game was watched by 2.9 million Canadians, and a study done by Canadian Women in Sport found that 2 in 3 Canadians are fans of women's sports in some way. So you may be asking, well, what's the problem with this? Well, with this growth, these professional leagues are getting more media opportunities with streaming and broadcast platforms. This creates an issue of fragmentation across different platforms, causing confusing and complicated viewing schedules. So for example, you may love the Toronto Scepters. On a Monday, they could be on Amazon Prime. And on a Friday, the game is only on TSN. This especially becomes an issue if you follow multiple teams and leagues, and it can also become costly to subscribe to all of these different platforms. So as you can see on screen, this is a problem I've had many times where right before a game, I'm rapidly typing into Reddit or other forums trying to figure out where to watch the game. And it's even led to me missing part of the game, which is the problem I'm trying to solve. So what's the solution? Well, it's the app I created called Watch Women's Sports. It's an all-in-one aggregator that takes in your preferences and location and gives you a personalized calendar featuring where to catch all of the games you don't want to miss. It will also create different cost breakdowns of how you can watch the most games, giving you the most bang for your buck. So who's my target audience? So the primary audience is Canadian and USA women's sports fans, Gen Z and millennials who are already these avid fans, meaning they already follow teams, players, and maybe they're even following these teams and players on social media. The secondary audience is people just getting into women's sports. So this may be parents wanting to showcase role models to their kids, people who are fans of one-off superstars like Caitlin Clark, or people who are interested in men's sports already, but are now seeing the value in women's sports. So when I did a competitor analysis, I found that no other company is specifically focusing on women's sports. So that's kind of an edge right there. So there are other websites like Just Watch Sports, ESPN's Where to Watch, and Streamline. And because none of them have this specific focus on women's sports, a lot of them are missing different women's professional leagues, especially because a lot of these leagues are quite new. There are also indirect competitors, which are on the league websites, which may outline where to watch different games, but often they're not geography specific. And if you follow many different leagues, it can be tedious to go to all these different websites to build out your schedule. So before going further, here's a quick demonstration of the app.
This is what you will see when you open the app for the first time. You create an account, put in your location, and then you can create your preferences. Prompts come up for your favorite leagues, teams, and players. Once you get through the prompts, you will come to your homepage. This is the page that you will see every time you open the app from now on. It will feature upcoming games. If you click on one of the games, it will show you a countdown to when it starts, as well as direct links to where you can watch it. Heading back to the home page, you can access your calendar view. Here you can see all of the upcoming games based on your preferences. Clicking on each game will take you to that specific game's page and showcase where you can watch it and direct links to access it. The other main feature is the cost calculator. Based on your individual preferences, it shows you 2 different price points. One in which you will be able to watch all of the games and which platforms you will have to sign up for, and then one that gives you the most value for your money. The app also features a game search. This is where you can search for upcoming games outside of your specific preferences or marquee events like a draft or an awards night.
All right, awesome. So
This is
for
what you will see when you
For the go-to-market strategy, there'll be three main phases. The first is focusing on social media. The second is advertising in both the digital and physical space, as well as utilizing the initial fan base from social media for user testing. And then the third is using the 2026 WNBA draft, which will be in early April next year, as a jumping off point. So launching the app a week before and utilizing the buzz around that new season to really gain popularity with the app. So for metrics, we will be looking at different acquisition metrics, but specifically focusing on activation rates, so those who put in their location and preferences. We will also focus on engagement metrics as we want this to be more than just a standalone product, but a brand as well. And then retention metrics of how many users still use the product after 30 days, as well as quality metrics focusing on crash and bug rates, as well as NPS scores. For the success criteria, we want 500 installs the first week after launch, 5,000 the first month, 50% activation rate from those installs, 15K followers on Instagram, as well as at least 15 organic mentions from accounts who have 50K or more, 30% retention rate post-launch, and of course, strong user reviews and high NPS scores. So throughout this whole thing, I had to make some risky assumptions. I'd say the biggest is that we're assuming people will find the use case for yet another app on their phone because they desire an all-in-one aggregator for women's sports, and especially they'll want to return to the app. There's also a huge assumption that the upfront costs associated with the app will be worth it in the long run. And then looking ahead, to start with, the app only features the three main women's professional sports leagues in North America, but I'd love for it to expand to basically all of the women's sports leagues, especially more niche sports like rugby, and definitely get into the college space. For example, women's college basketball in the States is huge, so to expand to that, and then expand on a global scale as well. I'd also like to eventually introduce an AI model that can create recommendations of new leagues and teams to watch based on the user's preferences, and this would eventually be in a premium subscription plan. Also, an eventual feature showcasing which sports bars in your area are playing the game with sound. So here's a timeline of my work. So I'm completely new to this space. So this was such an amazing learning opportunity for me, taking a hypothetical product from start to finish and getting feedback from the instructor and classmates along the way was super valuable. So that basically concludes the presentation, but I'll leave you with the mission of Watch Women's Sports, which is just to grow the game. And to me, there's no better way to grow the game than to get more eyes on it. So yeah, thanks so much everyone for your time. I'd love to break into the product space, as I mentioned earlier, as an associate product manager or something similar. I definitely have the passion and drive for this. I just need an opportunity to get started. So please feel free to reach out to me or check out my LinkedIn, talk to me on there. But yeah, thanks so much for your time.
Awesome, Jody, that was so great. I
Thank you.
love that you actually have a personal connection to the app and you did this because this is something that you struggled with. And I loved going through this pitch with you. You were incredible. I will now welcome the guest speakers on the stage to do 10 minutes of Q&A with Jody, and I will leave and let you guys get on with that.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I'm gonna just jump in because Jody,
Sure.
you are definitely an incredible storyteller and super smooth when it comes to presentations. Like
Thank
that is
you.
a skill you have, and no one can take that away from you.
Thanks.
So congrats, that was really a lot of fun. And let's go women's sports. I love that idea too. I'm thrilled with what I'm seeing like in the WNBA. I'm a huge fan myself, so that's
Awesome.
super cool. I guess there's so much that I was going through, and I was trying to take notes as you're going through it. The first thing that kind of came to mind was like, whoa, this is a big app. And I think a lot of times when it comes to these big, bold vision type of products, I worry about the cost. I worry about the amount of time it'll take to build to a point where, you know, you've got the product that you're kind of showing us there.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about segmentation or specific leagues and how you might break that down? Like, what would be that first step that you would take if you're like, hey, I've got $1 million for you to get started? How would you spend that? How would you think about getting
Yeah.
started, so that it's
Yeah.
not the whole thing, maybe. Yeah.
No, that's fair. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. And something I actually spoke with my instructor about is not feeling the need to go too big at the start. So like at the very ground level, this could literally be almost more of like a manual data entry process. Like eventually we'd love to go to automation and like use like APIs that already exist. But at the start, it could be super small scale. If I was worried about the scale, I could start right here in Canada with the PWHL, for example, and just using like basically manual data entry to keep up with the different streaming and broadcast rights and the different locations for people, and then expand from there. But yeah, I think I definitely would have a huge vision eventually. So starting from there, expanding to more and more sports, expanding globally, and even eventually kind of making it an all-in-one access point for women's sports. So maybe one day it even showcases stats of the game, but that's like further down the line, of course. But yeah, I think to answer your question would be starting really small and not being scared to kind of start with a more tedious manual process and eventually obviously wanting to expand and improve that.
Awesome. Something else that you were kind of going through there with regards to kind of like the pricing. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, the way that you were thinking about the experience is that people come in, they kind of select their preferences, they can build out a calendar, a schedule of games that they're interested in, and then based on that, you offer different pricing tiers.
Yeah. So basically for the actual cost of the app to begin with, it's free, and basically what we would be doing for us to make money is doing targeted ads as well as partnerships with different companies. Eventually, we would want to do a premium feature that could give like more ideas and more leaks to watch to the users. But where I think you're thinking of is the cost calculator. So that's more so information we're giving to the user of like, let's say it is my priority to watch 100% of the games. So this is how much I would need to spend to do so. I'd need like all 4 of those apps. I think it was like Sportsnet, TSN, WNBA League Pass, and one more. So that's just more so giving that information to the user. And then, or most bang for your buck would be like, you can still get 80% of the games, but for half the cost. And then the user would still have to go and actually like sign up for those streaming websites. Another thing that could be great down the line, who knows if this is a possibility, but partnering with someone like from Linda, like from ESPN, to say, look, maybe you can get a bit of a deal if you sign up through us to the ESPN website or something like that. But yeah, that cost calculator is more of just like giving knowledge to the customer of how they can best spend their money to still try to watch as many games as possible.
I love that. Okay. Yeah, thanks for clarifying. Beautiful.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
I'll let the others jump in.
Thanks. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Jody. It was a very impressive application. I know at ESPN we have thought long and hard on women's sports. And I mean, we don't have the niche of women's sports in an aggregate that you're building here is fascinating. And you did a great job and great research. Also a little plug, ESPN did release a new app today that does actually include a little bit more specialized and personalization, not quite yet women's focused, although there's a little bit there you can do. Very fascinated with what you can do. I hope one day it could lead to ESPN broadcast, because speaking from experience, broadcast rights it can be cumbersome.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, great job. You did a wonderful job. Little bit would have liked to hear more about end users and that niche, only because it can be very competitive. So especially your Canada focus, there's probably gaps in local broadcast and local sports teams, colleges in Canada specifically. I've lived in Canada for 5 years, so I know I can barely watch any Canada teams here in the US. So, growing what would be the niche, and that, it would be a key, but you did a fantastic job. I was happy to see it, and, reach out.
Definitely. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I would echo what Adrian and Linda have said. I think a great job, Jody. I think it was a very nice presentation. It was very nice to also see that you touched upon not just the core aspects of the product, but also looked at the go-to-market strategy and so on. I think that's very important to be a well-rounded product manager, right? So I think great job. Really enjoyed the demo as well. I think
Thank
it made it very clear as to what you're thinking. And I think, going forward, that's the expectation from product managers, right? That we also build, prototypes that makes it very easy for everyone else to understand what we're thinking. So great job on that. I think the one piece of feedback would be, or rather, there's a lot going on obviously in the app. So typically you'd like to test it out with a very small specific niche area and then kind of grow based on that. I think you had some great ideas around monetization as well. For example, offering it as a free tier and then moving it into a premium model. I think that's the right way to think about it. What would be good is to also kind of think about, what is the right time to kind of transition to a premium model, right? So typically that's the big pain point for any product, which is to say, what becomes part of the free tier versus what's premium. And so I think kind of thinking through that would be, especially when you're trying to scale something. I think, initially you're trying to test out a product. So you're basically offering a lot of capabilities for free just so that you have adoption. But then once you're starting to monetize, that is where I think you'd really like to kind of have a clear, demarcation between what's free and what's premium. So I think, those are things that I'm sure you'll kind of pick as you go along. But great job again. The one question I had is, you did speak briefly about, plans of monetizing this through the premium. Have you thought through this a little bit more? And can you talk a little bit about, what is the added value I get if I go into the premium model?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question and a very good point, because the last thing I want to do is basically take away features from the audience that I've already gained and they're used to these free features, and all of a sudden it's behind the paywall. So I think the idea would be down the line, hopefully this app has, schedules and access to all different sports. So like rugby, tennis, whatever you can think of. And basically what I was thinking is the premium feature would start to learn your preferences. And then based on that, they would basically make recommendations of the different things that you can now watch. And I think that could be valuable because the user base that I'm going after is quite niche. They're like fans of women's sports. And speaking for myself, sometimes I don't even care about the sport. I just like to support women's sports. So if I'm getting a recommendation for Rugby World Cup, I've never heard of that. That sounds great. I can just watch it on this website. Boom. So I think that could be really useful. And then another thing I think would be quite fun to the premium audience is also giving them information on sports bars in their local area, playing the game with sound, which is harder to find than I'd want it to be. So it'd be nice if there was just an aggregated info about that to the premium subscribers as well. But great question. I think especially the rollout of that and how I position that would be something I'd have to put a lot of thought into to make sure I didn't upset the current audience.
No, this is great. Yeah, I'm glad that you're already starting to think along those lines, which is good. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I'm going to jump back in.
Sure.
Because I liked what Linda was saying, around discovery, because I think you started by sharing some pretty powerful stats around kind of the uptake of people watching these types of sports and the level of engagement there. But I do think one of the most compelling things that you can have is a story or hearing directly from the fan, right, if you will. So if you had either some, this doesn't work for everyone, but I feel like it can help tell the story, right, where or elevate the kind of like the sense of the problem, where people are struggling to actually find ways to engage in content that is growing, right? So there's people who are actively trying to participate but can't. So I would love to see some of that as well if you were to kind of refine that or move forward with it.
Yeah, I think that's that's a really great idea. And I think like for launching the app and getting some type of base, I would really rely heavily on social media, especially because my target audience is Gen Z and millennials. And I think too, what would be great is to kind of grow awareness is to partner with like these people, like there's, you know, influencers on social media that focus on women's sports, or something like The Gist, which is a publication company out of Toronto that focuses on women's sports. So utilizing them to go after this niche audience. And then even players. There was an example where there was a brand new league called Unrivaled last year, and Canadians were kind of freaking out, not knowing where to watch it. And one of the actual players in this league was going on Instagram trying to explain where to watch these games. So something like that to pull someone like that in, I think with already a following would be great. But yeah, I think it's getting like that first foot in the door and getting, you know, those first few thousand followers would definitely be a challenge, but I think the space is definitely there.
Agreed. Yeah, super exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much for all your questions and comments and for taking the time to listen today. It's been awesome just having industry professionals hear my work and comment on it. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you everybody for your questions. They were so insightful, and I know Jody found them really helpful as well. So thank you so much. I will now get the guest speakers to go off stage, and Jody, thank you so much as well for going first. You did awesome. I will now move to the next person once everyone is off stage. Amazing. So next, we do have Jumoke presenting Phoenix. Jumoke, please come and join us on the stage, and I'm very excited to hear your pitch.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Jumoke, and I'm excited to share my Circuit Stream capstone project, Phoenix. I like to think of myself as a builder of digital things. Think about all the milestones you've had in your career from your very first job up till today. For me, that journey started as a community journalist chasing the next big story in my community. From there, I transitioned into content writing, then became a digital marketing specialist, led marketing projects, and currently work as an ad sales specialist, helping SMBs utilize XAds. Each step built on the last and ultimately led me into the world of product management. That's what inspired Phoenix. At its core, Phoenix is about helping professionals capture and celebrate their wins in real time, because these wins deserve to be seen, remembered, and celebrated. Tracking our professional achievements should be simple, but it's surprisingly hard for early career professionals, freelancers, career switchers. Milestones often get buried in emails and forgotten entirely. With many people changing roles every 1 or 2 years, and with performance reviews being the norm, there's a gap. This leads to stress, missed opportunities, and underselling our impact, especially during performance reviews or job applications. Now, introducing Phoenix. Phoenix is a web app that turns career documentation into a simple, ongoing habit. You can record achievements weekly, organize them with smart tags, and quickly export them for reports or LinkedIn posts. The goal is to help professionals feel prepared, confident, and proud of their growth at every stage of their career. Now we've identified use cases. Phoenix is versatile. There are different use cases. It works as an ongoing career journal, a tool for job seekers and career switchers, a performance review prep tool, and even a portfolio tracker for freelancers. It is also useful for skill development tracking and reflection, something we need in our careers every single day. Now, there are also 3 primary target user groups: early career professionals like Tolu, who need structure for their performance reviews; freelancers like Michael who want to showcase their value quickly, career switchers like Jennifer who want to reframe experiences for a new field. Here's a quick demo showing how Hinix works in action from sign up to log in and win. You see how easy it is to add achievements and how the dashboard organizes everything visually.
Enter your email address in the provided field. Type your desired password to secure your account. Click on Create My Account to proceed. Hit Let's Get Started to continue your journey. Select Early Career Professional to choose your path. Click on Continue to move forward. Press I'm ready to start when you're set. Click on Add My First Win to begin showcasing achievements. Enter a description of your achievement in the field. Enter your
Our TAM is about 185 million people employed in the United States and Canada, with around 80 to 100 million knowledge workers who could benefit from career achievement tracking. Our SAM is 20 million digital savvy professionals who actively use productivity tools. Our SUM starts with 200,000 early adopters, roughly 1% of the SAM. In 9 months post-launch, we are targeting 5% of the SAM, which means over 1 million users. Now let's talk about growth loops. Our in-app growth loops is designed to turn users into our best marketers, fueling viral adoption. Our growth engine is built on 4 connected loops that reinforce each other. First, the habit loop and gamification, which uses reminders and streak badges, making login wins a natural routine that users want to maintain. Second, the internal motivation triggers. As users see their progress visualized, they feel more confident and prepared, reducing imposter syndrome and pulling them back into the app. Third is the viral loop via sharing. Each LinkedIn post made through Hinix spreads awareness, sparking curiosity, and driving organic referrals. Finally, the social proof and community loop, essentially showcasing milestones like 100 wins logged, creates validation, FOMO, and inspires others to join. Together, this loops creates a self-sustaining system where each logged win falls engagement, trust, and adoption. I'll close this with feedback we received from an actual user who tried Hinix. The user felt Hinix was straightforward, easy to use, and made them feel like their work was building towards something meaningful, essentially. And that's all we all seek each day in our careers. Thank you, and I'd love to take your questions.
Jim, okay, that was amazing. As a career professional myself, I am mad I didn't think of this idea first, because that would make my life a lot easier. I just wanted to confirm, was your demo played properly? Because it's a little perfect.
It was. Thank you, Tim.
But yeah, that's an awesome idea. We have our guest speakers now on stage for 10 minutes of Q&A, and I will exit the stage and let you guys talk. Awesome.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay, that was awesome. Thanks for sharing your career path, right? And how you started thinking about this. It was cool to hear about that. And, you know, I think as a product manager, and even though I've been in the industry for a really long time, you still kind of sometimes suffer from imposter syndrome, and, you know, you reflect and question what you're doing. And so I think if I had something like this, I would feel a little bit more confident in my day-to-day. And I could always look back at some of the past achievements I've made, and maybe that keeps me happy. I love this idea. I think as you were kind of going through the demo, I kind of saw or was thinking about what this could look like, and it made me I don't know if this was like a strategy of yours, but maybe hungry to like know what would this look like if I presented it to someone else, not just like entering the information. I don't know if it was worth using, but it made me question it, and I want to kind of like learn more. So I'm kind of like immediately pulled in some way. Um, I I guess the other thing that maybe I'll comment on was this whole idea of like growth loops and how important it is to start thinking about how you'll get people engaged and how you'll maintain engagement, and how the more people you have on there, the kind of like this type of like flywheel starts happening where you kind of grow and grow and grow the network because people start feeling like, hey, I'm maybe missing out on something. I'd love to learn a little bit more about how you approach that, like what type of research you did to kind of think about what that loop would look like um, within the product, and then also a little bit about, if you don't mind, speaking to like how you got to like the 200,000, um, I guess, initial users as being kind of like the initial obtainable market, and how you got to that number.
Thank you, Adrian. So, firstly, the growth loop was really important because at the end of the day, every product is about the user and making them feel good, and you want them to keep coming back to use your product. If there's no user, there's no product. I mean, so that was the whole point of diving into the growth loop and ensuring that that's important from day one of the product, and getting people to come back, keep using the product. Essentially, they spread the product, they tell other people about it, makes them feel good, it's useful to them, and they spread it, and it keeps going on. That's the whole point of the growth loops, and that was I decided to put all that together and build that into the product. Now, for the TAM, SAM, and SOM, it's the data was from Statistics Canada and Statistics. I mean, public numbers, essentially 185 million. Then the number of people, it was just breaking it down to the early adopters. People would already use productivity tools and would be more open to adding one more productivity tool to their toolkits.
Interesting. It makes me think of like potential partner opportunities initially to maybe get people to get traction, right? Because otherwise, you're another product amongst millions of people trying to get out there. Yeah, just something to think about. But yeah, appreciated the presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job. It's a great idea. A couple of things that as you're going through the pitch, I would have liked to seen what the competitor landscape is, maybe a little in more depth. This is like a next iteration or evolution. And then particularly how emerging technologies are engaged in this, especially with Copilot and AI, and how those tools would be interactive, and privacy rules and stuff like that. Just a little more in-depth information on that. And then like the idea of keeping engagement, like there is like almost once they're in, it's hard to let go. This tool knows a lot about you and wants to grow with you in your career, and it doesn't want to separate it, because now it's almost a relative at this point. You know, how you keep that engagement, but particularly like the competitors out there, and how you would get and hold on to those within, and then by association, like partnerships that would be needed to keep that engaged. But it's a very unique and novel idea. I really enjoyed listening to it. Great job. And I do like your presentation and how it was laid out. I have one more question, and that's, what tools did you use for your demo?
Super demo.
Super demo. All right,
yes, but I created the app with Lovable. I just played around on Lovable and created the app. Thank you, Linda. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Jumoke. How are you?
I'm good.
I think great presentation. Really loved the use cases slide. I think it kind of showed that it's not just restricted to this one particular use case, but you're actually thinking through everything that is important for any individual, right? Right from just capturing your performance to skill development and so on. So I think great job on that. I certainly see a lot of scope for something like this, especially if it's integrated with the partner ecosystem. For example, today in organizations, they run a lot of these quarterly check-ins and so on, where we're typically having to kind of capture what are some of our wins and so on. And you really touched upon an important point, which is the fact that it's hard sometimes, right, to know what you did like 2 months back, let alone 6 months. So I think this is great, and I could certainly kind of, when you were showing us the demo as well as walking us through the other slides, I could certainly think of ways in which this could integrate really nicely with some of the existing platforms. And I do feel that there's a huge opportunity for you to kind of continuing to pursue this, right? I don't think there's anything that should stop you from doing that. The one thing I did want to ask you is, obviously you did have a slide on the TAM and so on. How was that based on the entire partner ecosystem, or what went into kind of putting that together?
It was just pulling in the numbers essentially and looking at people who would most likely adopt this kind of app. I mean, we also take a look at LinkedIn numbers and what people are doing, how people are using LinkedIn, and how would those numbers compare to using a new product. I mean, so most people probably feel, oh, they're doing the same thing on LinkedIn and all of that, but this is more private. This is you don't share all your wins on LinkedIn, obviously. And it was just looking at those similar numbers with the statistics.
Right. I think great job. The one piece of feedback, if I really had to kind of provide, would be to kind of just obviously you two had a lot of things in mind, which is great, but building a little bit of structure in terms of saying that here's the first problem I'm going to tackle, and here's what's going to follow, just kind of makes it very easy for everyone to know that, okay, here's your roadmap, this is what you're planning. So once again, great job, and I'm glad that you're using Lovable and all of those other tools. Adrian also just put in that comment here. So, I think it's very interesting how the PM role is transitioning. So it's good to see that you're starting to use all of these tools. So,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna jump back in once again. I think it's my new little habit here that I'm forming slowly. Yeah, I think you made me think about ways to kind of continue to cut things down, right? And I think part of the goal here is to like pitch something that's like bigger and bolder, which is cool. And I think the point of these presentations, but similarly to where you'd get started, I think it's important when we're thinking about the audience that we want to serve, really trying to refine that as much as possible, right? Like, what are the other ways that we can start to think about, like, who am I really going to pursue, right? If you're thinking about the early adopters, what do they look like? Where are they? Are they interacting online? Where are they interacting online? Where can I find them so that you can actually get them and validate that they'll be your early audience that's going to help drive this forward, right? And so, and this applies to anybody, including some of the work that I do, like constantly trying to think about, like, are there other ways that we can kind of slice this down? And so I think if you're thinking about that early adopter, and that's really going to be critical for you to grow this, to get kind of like this initial momentum going and people kind of feeling envious or feel like they're missing out on something because they're not on here. Think about where those people live, what they're doing, when they're active, all those types of things.
Yeah. Thank you, Adrian. That's very cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, again, for your feedback and your questions. They're so insightful. And some of the things that you guys say, I'm like, wow, that is so cool. I didn't think of that. So I love the way your brains work. And Jumoke, great job on this. I absolutely love this product. So great. great job.
Thank
I-
you. Sir.
I'll get everybody back to exit the stage, and I will welcome Hadis to join us. Hadis also goes by Irene. I love both her names. Please come on the stage and we will begin. Awesome. Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna reshare my screen because it's happening, but there we go. Perfect. Okay, so let's go to Adapt2 and I will lead you to it.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Let me start with a question. Have you ever felt lost in a new country? Everything is unfamiliar, you don't know anyone, and even after Googling what to do, there is still that anxiety of the unknown. Now imagine this isn't just a trip, but your new life. Each year, 500,000 newcomers arrive in Canada, leaving behind their lives and loved ones wants to start over. Today, I will introduce Adaptio and how we make that transition easier. A quick intro about me. I'm Iran from Turkey with over 10 years in project management and 4 years in product management, mostly in hospitality. My experience as a product manager has taught me have a customer-centered mindset. Feeling that same uncertainty myself when I came to Canada, I leaned on my prior experience, which inspired me to create Adaptio. Newcomers don't lack information. They're overwhelmed with information. What they lack is a clear, trusted plan. 40% report feeling socially isolated in their first year of arrival, and most turn to scattered social media groups or informal networks that aren't reliable. Without the right support, people feel stuck, disconnected, unsure where to turn. No surprise, I am one of the 500,000 newcomers. I had plenty of information, but no clear path forward. So we began by researching newcomer stories, looking for patterns and pain points we all shared. From there, we designed and tested an AI-powered platform, Adaptio. At its core, and for our MVP, is an AI-powered personalized roadmap, a step-by-step plan that helps newcomers to navigate cultural adaptation, build connections, and settle confidently in Toronto. Adaptio solves these issues by creating a personalized AI-powered roadmap for each newcomer. It begins with AI onboarding that creates your body, a digital guide that we call digital twin, that mirrors the newcomer's journey and proactively suggests next steps, gives instant answers and tailored advice, such as trusted resources, community events, local opportunities. This is all offered in one platform. Alongside this, we have Smart Welcome Bundle. Adaptio creates essential resources tailored to language level, visa status, and goals. What makes Adaptio different is the personalization. Your body, the AI digital twin simulation, adapts to each user's goals, location, and personality. We have embedded cultural logic. An example would be, if someone is more cautious, they will receive step-by-step guidance. If they're more confident, your body can recommend faster, bigger steps because it studies you. The Smart Welcome Bundle delivers trusted resources from day one. This transforms integration from checklists into a meaningful journey of guidance and community support. Here is how Adaptio works. Next slide, please. The one before. Yeah, thank you. Newcomers answer a few questions about their goals and challenges. Adaptio creates your body, the digital twin, and generates a personal roadmap. The roadmap consists of step-by-step actions, local resources, and peer connections through our peer circles. Additionally, you can always get a real-time support through an Ask and Answer hub. Now you will see a demo.
Welcome to Adaptio. Thriving in Toronto. We start on the login page, where newcomers can access their personalized roadmap. Even in the freemium version, users still get real value with curated resources and guidance. Next is onboarding. Adaptio asks 8 quick starter questions, everything from housing and work goals to language preferences. This helps you, our buddy, the AI assistant, understand each user's needs, and build a digital twin. From there, Adaptio generates a personalized roadmap with progress bars, next steps, and helpful local tips, like navigating TTC transit or finding community events. Finally, we show the pricing page, where users can see the different packages and added benefits, such as deeper personalization, advanced features, and priority support. Adaptio transforms scattered information into a clear, guided journey, making life in Toronto easier from day one. Welcome.
This is opportunity, a massive opportunity. Canada welcomes nearly 500,000 newcomers every year, with 150,000 settling in Toronto alone. The government has committed $3.2 billion to newcomer integration, capturing even 1% of that represents over 32 million in potential value. Most newcomers want peer support, but 40% feel isolated. Adaptio bridges that gap. Next slide, thank you. Our monetization strategy grows in stages. In the short term, we will focus on the freemium model. Every newcomer gets a free personalized roadmap, while premium features like mentorship circles and verified service bundles are available through subscriptions. This freemium approach will also generate organic questions and interactions, feeding your body with real data to become smarter over time. In the medium term, B2B licensing is the next plan to Adaptio, is white labeled for settlement agencies, municipalities, or colleges with pricing per organization or per user seat. In long term, we'll grow into larger partnerships such as with the government and privacy-safe data insights to improve service at scale. Of course, building Adaptio to this point hasn't been without challenges. We had too many future ideas, so a big challenge was scope. I applied the ICE framework and we were able to prioritize and focus on the MVP. With such limited time, instead of getting stuck, I ran quick interviews and surveys, spotted patterns, and turned them directly into actionable design decisions and got user insights fast. I learned Figma from scratch and within weeks built an interactive prototype ready for user testing. These challenges pushed me to simplify, adapt quickly, and step outside my comfort zone. And each one turned into a valuable learning experience. From newcomers to builders, I turned my own challenges into Adaptio's mission, which is make every newcomer's journey clearer, faster, and less lonely. My ask is simple. I'm seeking product management opportunities, mentorship in Toronto's tech ecosystem, and connections with partners who share this vision. Thank you for listening, and I would love to answer any questions.
Good job. That was amazing. I absolutely love this. And I know so many people who would find value with this. So great presentation. And we already have our guest speakers on stage. So I will leave you to the Q&A.
Thank you.
I'll jump in first because I did live in Canada for 5 years and was a resident in Canada. So I really do know how isolating it could be and accessing the resources that I needed. And I even had 2 children living in Canada as well. So I understand that new immigrants coming in, myself was included, how hard it was to access a lot of these services and things that you needed as an immigrant into Canada. Also, the United States has the same issue. So you do have a wider market opportunity. And I really did enjoy that. A part of your presentation, it was really thought out and well presented. It went through all of I wrote questions down and you answered the questions as soon as I wrote it down. So it was well done and well executed as far as what you needed to present. A couple of things, again, I think I mentioned it before with a prior presentation is some competitive analysis. And looking at what others are doing, and then maybe jumping into partnerships right away and having that as part of the roadmap plan. But other than that, I really did enjoy this. I enjoyed that you used Figma. I'm a fan. And then I also really enjoyed how you went through each step, and utilizing AI and bringing that up and mentioning it would be key, especially if you have to have a multi-language platform. I think that would be needed. So great job.
Thank you so much. For competitor analysis, I would like to give that detail. So we did make a competitor analysis. We look for where the newcomers can get information, and there are so many agencies actually providing information, or even the government web page is giving the information. But what we found, even personally, like you mentioned, there was information, but sometimes the language was really heavy to understand, especially if it is not your first language, or it was just too crowded, too busy to actually extract the information we needed. So hopefully it will be helpful.
All right. Yes, you did an awesome job. This is super exciting. I live in Toronto. I'm in Toronto right now. I'm about to travel to Scotland today. There's no like real barrier for language or anything like that, but I'm thinking about how this type of tool could help people who are really kind of moving around and feeling overwhelmed, like you kind of suggested at the very beginning. I can't imagine being in that position. So it's a very interesting problem to solve. And I imagine the other thing that you just touched on, like this linguistic issue of like, you know, if you don't speak the language, that being a challenge. I think I wonder if you thought about that in terms of like the product that you're offering and how that could help. And I imagine AI could obviously come in and assist with that as well. Maybe I'll start with that question, but just any thoughts on the idea of like dealing with people from all kinds of different backgrounds and languages?
So as long as beside the AI, your body get to know your personality, it also starts to get to know you culturally. And the AI, when you get the not premium but the paid version of it, you have your account and you can actually have more specific roadmaps. And also your AI is remembering you, not only giving the information on the data of the AI, but specific information to you. So the more your body starts to get you, the more you get personalized return, feedback, or answers. And after a while, the AI is going to be the one who is solving that cultural misunderstandings or maybe misalignments.
Yeah, nice. I wanted to maybe point out a couple of other things. So first off, you talked about an MVP and how you got there and having to like kind of tease things back a little bit and make sure you kind of scale back, I guess, the project that you're working on, which I think is really cool. You highlighted some of the kind of key features you thought you wanted to have that were important to you in there. In one of them, and I don't know if this is AI powered, but you talked about in the premium plan having maybe some assistive services, and I don't know, was that actual people that you can connect with, or is that actually still relying on AI or in the product?
So for the next iterations, we are not for the MVP. For the next iterations, our plan is getting help from actual people, but not any person. So what we're thinking of to make it better and more valid, we are planning to give LinkedIn badges for the first contributors to get actual but also informed contributors. So we don't want to be like Reddit entries, but we want to be with people who knows and been through this process, and to provide and encourage those mentors to give these answers. We want to kind of a little reward. They don't need it, but a little reward, like a badge to appreciate their contributions. Of course, I have to say we are not working with IRCC. We are just there to help who is here and who is struggling to adapt to Canada or Toronto. So we are just helping their path rather than giving legal advices.
Very cool. How do you think? So first off, I think in this journey, right, that people are coming in and they're kind of building out a plan to kind of help adapt to a new environment. I imagine there's a specific timeline maybe associated with that. Is there any kind of research that came out and suggested like, hey, if people come through this program, you're going to be in it for like a month, 3 months, a year, more? Is there anything like that you came across?
Is it the sense of for the Can I have the question again?
Yeah, maybe I'll try to phrase it a little bit differently. There's a certain, I guess, length to the customer in this case, right? Like the person that you're
Mhm,
serving,
mhm.
and their usage of the product. I imagine I could be wrong. Um, did anything come up in your research in terms of like how long it takes for someone to typically become more comfortable or acquainted or feel like they're integrated into their local
The
environment?
customer life for the product.
Yeah, well, your customers are going to be. I'm talking more like the people who are using this product, right?
Mhm,
If I'm
mhm.
coming in and using this product, how long would I be using this thing for?
Oh, so myself has been here for 1.5 years, and still I have so much to figure out for.
Right.
So, uh, from my observation and from our research and with the surveys we've done with people, with the potential users, it's not less than 2 years to be
Okay.
actually settled down. First 1 year is the most crucial window for us when we want to meet them, because that's when they need the help the most. But after that, the process doesn't end at the second year. Even at the third year, it doesn't end. And what we will be trying to do is, when they are actually settled down to Toronto, we want them to be a mentor in Toronto or Canada. So what is given to them, we want to encourage that they also give back to community when they come, because nothing stays the same the day they enter the country, and when the newcomers next year come to the country.
I love this. So now I'm starting to see kind of like a timeline of people coming into the product and recommending it to other people and becoming part of like the people who inform it but also assist over time. So that's awesome. I love to see that type of evolution. I think that would be really cool to include in some of this in the presentation in the future as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great job. I think just like what Linda and Adrian said, I think fantastic presentation. Um, you know, you're absolutely right. I think you know, it's a problem that needs to be solved, and it's a valid problem. So, you know, that's a good starting point. The one thing that I like is the fact that, you know, it is slightly different from some of the other ideas or products that already exist, in that, you know, you're asking the user to define a goal first, and then kind of, you know, providing content or advice or resources based on the goal that I have, because every immigrant has a different goal, right? And obviously, we've listed down a few which we think are the ones that most of them have, but I think it's a great way to kind of approach it. I also like the fact that you've started to think about, you know, how to monetize this, you know, in terms of a freemium model. I saw that you had pricing defined as well, which is great. So, you know, one-to-one coaching was something that caught my eye in one of the tiers, and I think that is really valuable. I've seen a lot of people reach out just for kind of understanding, you know, what are some of the challenges typically someone faces when they're here, how do they navigate through all of that. And I think building a platform which can kind of curate the right set of folks who can provide real life experiences, that's great. The one thing that I wanted to ask you is, have you thought about, you know, what differentiates um, this particular product from, let's say, you touched upon IRCC provides resources, then there are others who might be also trying to solve. What do you think is, you know, if you had to pinpoint one thing, what is it that would differentiate this from the others, and how would you really add value to your users based on that?
So when we first started to work on this project, we were supposed to be the first AI integrated platform. But again, the technology is really moving fast. As Linda mentioned, like what Jody wanted to do is kind of happening right now today with Disney. So in the meantime, things happen, and there are other AI-powered settlement platforms. But again, our target is not to tell them what to do. We are here to actually feel the emotional isolation, the social isolation and emotional gap. So what we are trying to do is, when they're like, if not every newcomer is a skilled worker, sometimes it can be a newly wedded person who came to Canada, or a new mother who came to Canada. So we are going to try to connect these people and what they're aiming, or yes, if I could explain.
No, that's great. I think, clearly identifying a value proposition was what I was trying to get to. And I think as long as you have that defined, then you're going to solve the right problems that matter, because you've already defined what that value is, right? So great job again. I think really enjoyed the pitch.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
That was so amazing. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your insights again. And I love this product. I love that Hadis got to present this to you guys and talk to you today. So thank you so, so much. Now we are just going to do our wrap up, and I will get everybody off stage for now, and we'll get everybody to come on in afterwards. Okay, so I want to say a big congratulations to our graduates. Congratulations on completing your software development bootcamp. And I am going to pass it to Maddie for general Q&A.
All right, so I would love to just finish this event by inviting all of our presenters and all of our guest speakers back up on the stage, just for a general sort of Q&A. In the meantime, for those of you in attendance, my email is up there. If you are interested in participating in an event like this or becoming a hiring partner, we have lots going on Circuit Stream. So guests and guest speakers, if you guys could come right back up on stage, we're making really good use of the join stage button, which is awesome. And to our three presenters, you guys can join up on stage as well. For those of you who are up here, Adrian, Linda, Siddharth, do you have anything in general that you would like to address with our presenters? Anything you noticed? Any parting words of wisdom? Anything you want to share? Please go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of effort and courage to kind of go through this type of thing. So first off, you all did an incredible job. I'm impressed by everything that I saw here today. Also, I know sometimes it's difficult to enter enter into product management. It's a very challenging but rewarding space. So, it takes time to break in, and don't give up. Like whatever you encounter, think of it as a learning opportunity. The way I think Hadis is how you pronounce it, but like the way you were talking about like learning along the journey, like that is how it goes. And sometimes you kind of have to learn through failure, and that's part of the pleasure, if you can spin it that way, at least in your head. I'd be happy to connect with all of you and continue to assist in whatever way that I can.
Thank you so much.
And for me, some career advice, some things, ideation and where it comes from, and the key that kind of builds that is really the value for the end user, the customer. Ultimately, you're building something relevant and valuable to meet customer needs. With that notion, sometimes don't jump on listening to all feedback from customers. And yes, you do need iterative feedback, but sometimes you've got to research the feedback as well. Just kind of a watch out in career. But a big thing is defining the what and the how and the value of these products. But there's also that skill sets that really make the product management job a key. And it's sometimes hard to define from people who are not in the space. But we have to be masters in a lot of things, particularly in soft skills, politics, negotiation, influence, communication, building trust in teams, little bit of therapist, but these are kinds of things that you grow into and become and develop mastery in product management. But it's amazing. I love my career path. It's amazing that I've been in this career for a while, and having worked at other companies doing the same thing. Success takes different paths, and product management has different paths as well. So be open to adapt to those. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I think just to add to what Adrian and Linda have said, I think, be open to any kind of opportunity that kind of comes through, right? I think a lot of times we're kind of hung up on things that we feel is the right way to go about things. I think being open there and just taking on something new opens up new opportunities as well. One thing I do want to say is that I wish I could do half the job that all of you did at the start of my career. So I would say that you already have a head start there. So good luck, and I really hope the best for each one of you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. We can go ahead and wrap up there. Thank you all for your time and your energy, guest speakers. Thank you for volunteering to be here today, and congratulations to our presenters. You guys can give yourselves a big pat on the back. Maybe take a deep breath. You did it. You did a great job. You put in moderator chat for Big Speaker LinkedIn, so you guys can continue the conversation. And we'll end it there. Anything else, Tia?
That's pretty much all we have for today. So thank you so much for joining us today for this pitch day. I thought it was super informative. I enjoyed all of the pitches so much, and I can see so much value in all of your products. And also to our guest speakers for joining us today. Your time is very appreciated. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Have a wonderful day.